My friends, today I want to speak to you about the trials and tribulations that each of us faces in our journey of faith. There are moments when the weight of the world seems unbearable, when our prayers appear to go unanswered, and when we feel isolated and forsaken. In these times, it's essential to recognize that these challenges may be signs that God is testing us, refining our character, and drawing us closer to Him. Consider the story of Abraham, who faced an unimaginable test when God asked him to sacrifice his beloved son, Isaac. Despite the profound anguish, Abraham's unwavering faith led him to obey God's command. At the pivotal moment, God intervened, sparing Isaac and blessing Abraham abundantly. This narrative exemplifies how God tests our faith to strengthen our trust in His divine plan. Reflect also on the life of Joseph, who endured betrayal by his own brothers, was sold into slavery, and unjustly imprisoned. Throughout these severe trials, Joseph maintained his faith and integrity. In due time, God elevated him to a position of great authority in Egypt, using him to save many lives during a famine. Joseph's story illustrates that prolonged hardships can be a precursor to significant breakthroughs orchestrated by God. In our own lives, we may encounter closed doors and missed opportunities, leading to frustration and despair. Yet these closed doors can be God's way of steering us toward paths that align with His purpose for us. It's during these times that our patience and trust in God are tested, teaching us to rely not on our understanding, but on His wisdom. Financial struggles, health issues, and personal losses can also serve as tests of our resilience and faith. When we face financial hardships, it challenges us to trust in God's provision. Health issues remind us of our mortality and the need to depend on God's strength. Personal losses, such as the death of a loved one, test our belief in God's sovereignty and goodness. Feeling isolated, even in the midst of a crowd, can be a profound test of our reliance on God. These moments of loneliness are opportunities to deepen our relationship with Him, recognizing that His presence is a constant source of comfort and companionship. God may also test us by asking us to sacrifice something we hold dear. This could be a relationship, a job, or a personal ambition. Such tests reveal where our true priorities lie and whether we are willing to place God's will above our desire. Offenses and misunderstandings with others can test our capacity for forgiveness and grace. When we choose to forgive those who have wronged us, we reflect God's love and mercy, growing in spiritual maturity. Family conflicts and issues can be particularly challenging, testing our patience, love, and commitment. Navigating these difficulties with faith can strengthen family bonds and our reliance on God's guidance. Lastly, when our dreams are shattered and our plans fall apart, it can feel like the end of the road. However, these moments are tests of our resilience and faith in God's greater plan for our lives. Trusting that He can turn our brokenness into something beautiful is a profound act of faith. In all these trials, remember the words of James 1:12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him. Embrace these tests with faith and courage, knowing that they are refining you for a greater purpose in God's divine plan. In the journey of faith, the story of Abraham and Sarah stands as a profound testament to the virtue of patience and unwavering trust in God's promises. At the age of 75, Abraham received a divine promise that he would become the father of many nations, despite he and his wife Sarah being childless at the time. This promise seemed improbable, given their advanced ages and Sarah's lifelong barrenness. As years passed without the fulfillment of this promise, Abraham and Sarah grappled with doubt and impatience. In an attempt to bring God's promise to fruition through their own means, Sarah suggested that Abraham conceive a child with her maidservant Hagar. This union led to the birth of Ishmael, but it was not the child God had promised. This decision introduced strife and complications into their family dynamics, highlighting the consequences of relying on human understanding rather than waiting on divine timing. Despite these challenges, God reaffirmed his promise to Abraham. When Abraham was 99 years old, God declared that Sarah would bear a son and they were to name him Isaac. This announcement was met with incredulity. Both Abraham and Sarah laughed at the notion of bearing a child in their old age. Yet as stated in Genesis 21:02, Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born, marking a 25-year period of waiting from the initial promise. This prolonged period of anticipation was a divine test of faith and patience. Abraham and Sarah's experience underscores the importance of steadfastness and trust in God's timing, even when circumstances seem insurmountable. Their story encourages believers to hold firm to God's promises, reminding us that delays are not denials, but opportunities for faith to mature. In our own lives, we may face seasons of waiting and uncertainty. During these times, it's crucial to remember that God's plans are perfect and his timing is impeccable. The story of Abraham and Sarah serves as a powerful reminder that patience and unwavering faith are integral to experiencing the fulfillment of God's promises. In the journey of faith, believers often encounter profound trials that test the very core of their trust in God. One of the most poignant examples of such a trial is the story of Abraham, who faced an extraordinary test when God commanded him to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac. Abraham, who had waited many years for the birth of Isaac, the child of promise, was suddenly confronted with a divine directive that seemed to contradict the very promise God had made. In Genesis 22:02, God instructs Abraham, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." This command not only challenged Abraham's love for his son, but also his understanding of God's covenant and faithfulness. Despite the emotional turmoil and the apparent paradox of the situation, Abraham's response was one of immediate obedience. Early the next morning, he set out with Isaac to the designated place, demonstrating unwavering faith in God's character and promises. As they ascended Mount Moriah, Isaac inquired about the absence of a lamb for the offering. Abraham replied, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." Genesis 22:8. This statement reflects Abraham's profound trust that God would either provide an alternative or resurrect Isaac, as he believed in God's promise that Isaac would be the progenitor of many nations. At the moment Abraham raised the knife to sacrifice his son, an angel of the Lord intervened, stopping him and providing a ram caught in a thicket as a substitute offering. This event not only spared Isaac, but also reinforced the principle that God tests the faith of his followers to strengthen and purify their trust in him. As James 1:2-3 articulates, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Abraham's experience serves as a powerful reminder that divine tests are not intended to lead believers into failure, but to refine their faith, ensuring it is genuine and resilient. Such trials compel individuals to rely wholly on God's wisdom and provision, even when circumstances appear insurmountable or contradictory to His promises. Through steadfast obedience and trust, believers can emerge from these tests with a fortified faith, ready to fulfill the purposes God has set before them. In the annals of biblical history, the narrative of Joseph stands as a profound testament to resilience, unwavering faith, and the mysterious workings of divine providence. As the favored son of Jacob, Joseph's early life was marked by dreams that hinted at future ascendancy, dreams that sowed seeds of envy among his brothers. This envy culminated in a grievous act. Joseph was stripped of his cherished robe and cast into a pit, eventually being sold to Ishmaelite traders for 20 shekels of silver, leading him away from his homeland to Egypt. In Egypt, Joseph's journey was fraught with challenges that would test the mettle of any individual. Purchased by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, Joseph's integrity and diligence soon earned him a position of trust within his master's household. However, this period of favor was abruptly disrupted when false accusations from Potiphar's wife led to his imprisonment. Despite the injustice, Joseph's character remained unblemished. Even within the confines of prison, his unwavering faith and exemplary conduct garnered the trust of the prison warden, who entrusted him with responsibilities over other inmates. It was during this incarceration that Joseph's divinely bestowed gift of dream interpretation came to the forefront. He accurately interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, foretelling their respective fates. Though his plea to the cupbearer for remembrance upon reinstatement initially went unheeded, this episode set the stage for a pivotal turn in Joseph's destiny. 2 years later, Pharaoh was plagued by perplexing dreams that eluded the understanding of his advisors. It was then that the cupbearer recalled Joseph's interpretative prowess, leading to his summons from the dungeon. With humility and clarity, Joseph elucidated Pharaoh's dreams, forecasting 7 years of abundance to be succeeded by 7 years of severe famine. Impressed by his insight and discerning spirit, Pharaoh elevated Joseph to the position of vizier, granting him authority second only to himself. In this capacity, Joseph's strategic acumen was instrumental in navigating Egypt through the years of plenty and scarcity. His prudent administration not only safeguarded the nation from the ravages of famine, but also positioned Egypt as a source of sustenance for neighboring lands. This period of crisis became a crucible for reconciliation when Joseph's brothers, driven by desperation, journeyed to Egypt seeking provision. In a poignant encounter, Joseph, now unrecognizable in his regal stature, chose the path of forgiveness over retribution, revealing his identity and extending grace to those who had wronged him. Joseph's odyssey from a betrayed brother to a beacon of leadership in a foreign land underscores the transformative power of steadfast faith and integrity. His life exemplifies how adversity, when met with unwavering trust in divine purpose, can metamorphose into avenues of profound impact and fulfillment. In the annals of biblical history, the narrative of Job stands as a profound testament to unwavering faith amidst unparalleled adversity. Job, a man described as blameless and upright, enjoyed immense prosperity and a harmonious family life. However, his faith was subjected to severe trials that stripped him of his wealth, family, and health. In a celestial discourse, Satan challenged the authenticity of Job's righteousness, suggesting it was merely a product of his blessings. To refute this claim, God permitted Satan to test Job's faith. In rapid succession, Job received news of his livestock being stolen, his servants slain, and a mighty wind collapsing his eldest son's house, resulting in the death of all his children. Despite these overwhelming tragedies, Job's response was one of profound submission. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. The severity of Job's trials intensified when he was afflicted with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Even as he sat in ashes, scraping his sores and enduring the counsel of friends who insisted his suffering was a consequence of hidden sin, Job maintained his innocence and continued to seek understanding from God. His lamentations and dialogues reflect the depth of his anguish and his unwavering quest for divine insight. Throughout these ordeals, Job's faith remained steadfast. He refrained from cursing God, instead expressing a desire to comprehend the reasons behind his suffering. This narrative underscores the concept that faith is not merely a byproduct of prosperity, but can endure through profound loss and despair. In the culmination of Job's story, after he humbly submits to God's wisdom, his fortunes are restored, and he is blessed with twice as much as he had before. This restoration serves as a testament to the resilience of faith and the belief that steadfastness amidst trials can lead to renewed blessings. Job's journey offers a timeless lesson on the nature of faith under duress. It challenges believers to trust in divine sovereignty, even when circumstances are incomprehensible, and to hold firm to their integrity, knowing that trials can serve to refine and strengthen one's spiritual resolve. In the chronicles of early Christian missions, the Apostle Paul's journey through Phrygia and Galatia presents a compelling narrative about divine guidance and the redirection of human plans. As recorded in Acts 16, verse 6 to 10, Paul and his companions were forbidden by the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia. This prohibition, though initially perplexing, underscores the importance of attuning to divine direction, even when it diverges from personal intention. The term Asia in this context refers to the Roman province located in Western Asia Minor, encompassing cities like Ephesus and Smyrna. Paul's initial desire to minister in this region was met with a divine injunction, the specifics of which remain undisclosed. This redirection was further emphasized when, upon reaching the borders of Mysia, they attempted to enter Bithynia, but the Spirit of Jesus did not allow them. Consequently, they journeyed to Troas, where Paul received a vision of a Macedonian man pleading, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." Interpreting this as a divine summons, they immediately set out for Macedonia, thereby introducing the gospel to the European continent. This episode highlights the necessity of sensitivity to divine guidance. Paul's strategic plan to evangelize Asia was, in divine wisdom, deferred in favor of an urgent mission in Macedonia. This redirection not only expanded the geographical reach of the gospel, but also laid the foundation for significant Christian communities in cities like Philippi, Thessalonica, and Corinth. It's noteworthy that the initial prohibition was not a permanent denial. In subsequent journeys, Paul did minister extensively in Asia, particularly in Ephesus, where he spent considerable time teaching and establishing a vibrant church. This delayed fulfillment suggests that divine timing is paramount. Certain endeavors may require preparation, both for the messenger and the recipients, to align with God's overarching plan. For contemporary believers, this narrative serves as a poignant reminder that divine guidance may sometimes reroute our well-intentioned plans. Such redirections are not rejections, but rather alignments with a purpose greater than our own understanding. Embracing these divine detours with faith can lead to unforeseen opportunities and the fulfillment of a mission that resonates with divine intent. In essence, Paul's experience teaches that while human plans are valuable, they must remain flexible to accommodate divine intervention. Trusting in God's wisdom and timing ensures that our efforts contribute meaningfully to a purpose that transcends individual aspirations, ultimately serving a greater good in the unfolding of the divine narrative. In the annals of biblical history, the Israelites' 40-year sojourn in the wilderness stands as a profound testament to the complexities of faith, obedience, and divine testing. This prolonged journey, which could have been completed in a matter of days, was not merely a geographical detour, but a divinely orchestrated period of purification and preparation. The roots of this extended wandering trace back to a pivotal moment of collective doubt. Upon approaching the borders of the Promised Land, Moses dispatched 12 spies to survey the territory. Upon their return, 10 of the spies presented a discouraging report, emphasizing the formidable inhabitants and fortified cities which instilled fear and uncertainty among the Israelites. This reaction starkly contrasted with the faith exemplified by Joshua and Caleb, who urged the people to trust in God's promise. The community's decision to heed the majority's fearful counsel over the assurances of divine provision marked a significant lapse in faith. In response to this collective disobedience and lack of trust, God decreed that the Israelites would wander in the wilderness for 40 years, corresponding to the 40 days the spies spent exploring the land. This period served multiple purposes. It was a direct consequence of their actions, a time for the faithless generation to pass away, and an opportunity for the emergence of a new generation refined by trial and more attuned to divine guidance. Throughout these 4 decades, the wilderness became a crucible for spiritual formation. Deuteronomy 8 verse 2 reflects on this era, stating, "Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart." This humbling process was not punitive, but redemptive, aiming to cultivate reliance on God rather than on human strength or understanding. Despite the hardships, God's providence remained evident. The daily provision of manna, water from the rock, and guidance through the pillars of cloud and fire underscored a continuous divine presence. These miracles were tangible reminders that even in periods of correction and testing, God's commitment to his people endured unwaveringly. The narrative of the Israelites' wilderness journey serves as a timeless lesson on the consequences of disobedience and the transformative power of divine testing. It underscores that while human plans may falter, divine purposes prevail, often using periods of waiting and adversity to prepare individuals and communities for future blessings and responsibility. In the final moments of his earthly life as Jesus hung upon the cross, he uttered a profound plea. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. This statement, remarkable in its depth of compassion, offers a window into the boundless mercy that defines the heart of God. The context of this plea is crucial. Jesus had endured betrayal, false accusations, and unimaginable physical torment. The very individuals he sought to save were now mocking him, casting lots for his garments and reveling in his suffering. Yet amidst this atmosphere of cruelty and injustice, Jesus' response was not one of condemnation, but of intercession. He appealed to the Father on behalf of his tormentors, highlighting their ignorance and seeking their forgiveness. This act of intercession fulfills the prophecy found in Isaiah 53:12, which speaks of the Messiah making intercession for the transgressors. Jesus' prayer from the cross exemplifies this role, standing in the gap for humanity, even as he bore the weight of its sins. His words underscore a central tenet of his ministry, the call to love one's enemies and to pray for those who persecute. Matthew 5:44. In this moment, Jesus not only taught forgiveness, but embodied it, setting a precedent for all who would follow him. The phrase, "for they do not know what they're doing," speaks to the spiritual blindness of those involved in his crucifixion. While they were aware of their actions on a physical level, they were oblivious to the profound spiritual implications of their deeds. This ignorance, however, did not absolve them of guilt, but highlighted their need for divine mercy. Jesus' prayer reflects a profound understanding of human frailty and a deep desire for reconciliation between God and humanity. For contemporary believers, this narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the transformative power of forgiveness. Jesus' example challenges individuals to extend grace, even in the face of profound injustice and personal injury. It calls for a love that transcends human understanding, rooted in the divine example set forth on the cross. Embracing this path of forgiveness not only aligns believers with the heart of God, but also fosters healing and reconciliation in a fractured world. In essence, Jesus' plea from the cross encapsulates the essence of the gospel, a message of unmerited grace, boundless compassion, and the relentless pursuit of reconciliation between the Creator and his creation. It serves as an enduring testament to the depth of God's love and the lengths to which he will go to restore a broken relationship with humanity. In the annals of faith, few narratives are as profound and challenging as that of Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son, Isaac. This account, found in Genesis 22, delves deep into themes of trust, obedience, and the complexities of divine testing. God's command to Abraham was both startling and enigmatic. "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Genesis 22:02. This directive not only threatened the life of his beloved son, but also seemed to jeopardize the very covenant God had established, promising that Abraham's descendants would be as numerous as the stars, with Isaac as the linchpin of this promise. The narrative reaches its climax as Abraham, with unwavering resolve, prepares to sacrifice Isaac. At the pivotal moment, an angel intervenes, halting the act, and a ram is provided as a substitute offering. This intervention underscores a critical aspect of the story. While God tests the depth of Abraham's faith, he does not desire human sacrifice. Instead, this episode serves to highlight the importance of placing unwavering trust in divine wisdom, even when it transcends human comprehension. This account also serves as a typological foreshadowing within Christian theology. The willingness of Abraham to offer his beloved son parallels God's ultimate sacrifice of his only son, Jesus Christ, for the redemption of humanity. The ram, provided as a substitute for Isaac, symbolizes Christ, who takes the place of sinners, offering himself as the ultimate atonement. This connection is further illuminated in the New Testament, where Jesus remarks, "Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad." John chapter 8, verses 16. Suggesting that Abraham's experience on Mount Moriah was a glimpse into God's redemptive plan through Christ. Questions? For contemporary believers, Abraham's experience serves as a profound lesson in faith and obedience. It challenges individuals to reflect on their own lives, questioning what they might be holding back from complete surrender to God. The narrative encourages a trust in divine purposes, even when they are not immediately clear, and emphasizes that true faith often involves stepping into the unknown with confidence in God's provision and plan. In essence, the story of Abraham and Isaac transcends its historical context, offering timeless insights into the nature of faith, the challenges of obedience, and the profound depths of divine love and provision. In the tapestry of our spiritual journey, moments of divine testing are woven with purpose and intentionality. These trials, though often challenging, serve as crucibles that refine our faith, deepen our reliance on God, and align our paths with His divine will. From the unwavering faith of Abraham on Mount Moriah to the Israelites' transformative journey through the wilderness, Scripture is replete with narratives that exemplify the profound growth and revelation that emerge from such testing. In our contemporary lives, these tests manifest in various forms: unexpected detours, prolonged periods of waiting, or the call to forgive in the face of deep hurt. Each scenario, while unique, beckons us to trust in God's sovereignty, to surrender our limited understanding, and to embrace His higher purposes. As the Apostle Paul experienced redirection in his missionary endeavors, leading to the spread of the gospel in unforeseen territories, so too can our perceived setbacks be divine setups for greater impact and blessing. Embracing these moments with a heart of faith and obedience not only transforms our character, but also fortifies our witness to the world as we navigate the crucibles of life. Let us remember that God's testing is not a measure of our failures, but an invitation to deeper intimacy with Him, a catalyst for growth, and a testament to His unwavering commitment to our ultimate good. In the words of Billy Graham, "Mountaintops are for views and inspiration, but fruit is grown in the valleys." May we therefore find solace and strength in the valleys of testing, knowing that it is within these very depths that our faith is cultivated, our purpose clarified, and our lives transformed for His glory.